Okay, Chavra, let's learn. Sefer Pituchei Chotam Bo by Rabi Yakob. This week's parsha is Pharshas Boy, and in Pharshas Boy we get some insights into Geula and into the Mitzvas of Leil Seder and the significance that they have in the process of Geula. Let's begin. The Mitzvahs Halayla in times of the Beis Hamikdash was Seh Tomim Zachar Ben Shana Yilachem Min HaKavasim Min HaIzim Tikachu. Was to take a Seh Tomim, a complete sheep, a lamb without any blemish, and that's what you're going to bring as a carbon. This was the mitzvah in Mitzrayim. This is the mitzvah in the times of the Beis Hamikdash to have a carbon Pesach. Rabi Yakob explains that everything in Ruchnius anything that was blemished in Ruchnius needs a tikkun, and the tikkun comes about through the same item that brought about the kilkul, that brought the mess up. You have to elevate that item itself, that inyan itself. So how is it that the Seh Tomim is a tikkun for galus, brings geula? Where is the remedy? So we need a little introduction to explain some things, and then we'll get to it. We've discussed a few times in the shiurim something called milui, which is filling out the letters of a word. Specifically, when it comes to the shemas of Hashem, there are the difference in the way that the milui is done will give you a different inyan in that shem. So let's talk about the Shem Elokim. Later on, we'll talk about the Shem Havaya. There are gimel milui for the Shem Elokim. There's 3 ways how you can spell out the letters in the word Elokim, Hashem's name Elokim. And the difference is really in the hey. All the other letters are going to be the same. The difference is in how you spell the letter hey. The letter hey can be spelled hey yud, it can be spelled hey aleph, and it can be spelled hey hey. Okay. Each one of these miluim, of these ways of writing Hashem's name, give us a different gematria. So, for instance, the milui with yud, to spell the hey with a yud, will give us a gematria of 300. That represents, that's the highest of the shemas, and that's in the sphera called Bina. Then there's a milui with the aleph, and that is the Shem Elokim in Gevura, and the gematria of that is 291, which is Eretz. And finally, you have the milui in Malchus of Elokim, the milui of Hashem, that is spelled with a hey, and that gives us Ratzah, 295. Now, those are the 3 miluyim of the Shem Elokim. Now we understand that Golus, by definition, is a expression of the Shem Elokim. Elokim refers to din, to judgment, to gvura. So the expression of Golus is an expression of Elokim. That means to get a tikkun, a hamtaka, to get geula, we need to be mamtik, to sweeten the Shem Elokim, to sweeten the din. So let's see how the Seh Tomim does just that. So the word Seh equals 305. If we take the milui of the Shem Elokim with a yud, gives us the gematria 300, plus the 5 letters of Elokim itself, gives you 305, the gematria of Seh. So we see already the Seh is a hamtaka, is going to be metakein, the galus, through that which is an expression of the Shem Elokim. It gets better, because there are other miluyim. There's another gematria, another form of gematria is called the ribua. Ribua means taking things in increments. So you see I did it here. You can spell Elokim, it starts with an aleph, then an aleph lamed hey, aleph lamed hey yud, aleph lamed hey yud mem. All of that together gives you 200. Okay. We already described that there is the milui of Elokim with an aleph, which is in the sphere of Gvura, is the gematria of Eretz, 291. 200, which is the gematria of Elokim biribua, And 291, which is the Milui of Elikim, gets you the word Tamim plus 1. Tamim equals 490 plus 1 for the word itself gives you 491. That's a Tamimus. That's a complete Tikkun, a complete Hamtaka. To get the complete Hamtaka, meaning we're hitting the Shem Elikim in 3 different ways here. We have it in the Milui of Yud. We have it in the Milui of Aleph and Beribua. That's a Tamimus. So the Set Tamim is what is being mamtik the Shem Elikim. So bringing this animal, why is complete Set? A Set Tamim, an unblemished Set, is the Hamtaka, is the Tikkun for the Shem Elikim, which the expression of the Shem Elikim is Geula. So the Set Tamim is our first step towards Geula. Let's go a little further to the Mitzvahs Halayla. V'achlu es habasar b'layla hazeh. So you're going to eat this meat, the Set Tamim. It's got to be roasted. Tzli'esh. Matzos al meroirim yechlu. We have it with matzah and mar. So what's the significance of this roasting? You got to roast it. You can't cook it. You can't eat it raw. You got to roast it. What's the Indian in roasting? It's tzli'esh. Look at this. Another way the Shem Elikim, I guess, has an expression, the Sitra Achra, not the Shem Elikim, the Sitra Achra, our battle against the Yetzer Hara, and the other side, whose great angel is the Samach Mem. So this, and we have a Yetzer Hara. This is our battle. To experience Geula, you need to roast these two. You got to roast the Malach, the Samach Mem, and the Yetzer Hara. You take the Samach Mem is Gematria 131, the Yetzer is 300, it gives you 431, and that's why we roast the Set Tamim. We roast it because Tzli'esh is the way we're getting rid of, we're burning up the Yetzer Hara and the Sitra Achra, and that brings us to Geula. Let's take it further. Golus Mitzrayim was supposed to be 430 years. The pasuk actually says, Moshe b'nei Yisrael sheyoshu b'Mitzrayim shloishim shana v'arba shana, 430 years. Now, 430 is actually the Shem Elikim times 5. Could be times 5 because of the letters of Elikim, the letters in the Shem. It could be times 5 because of the dinim are expressed in the letters mansepach. The end of the letters that are sofit are 5 letters. So there's a multiple of 5 in the dinim in Elikim. 86 times 5 gives you 430. Another reason why we need tzli'esh is because tzli'esh is gematria 431. 430 plus 1 for the hamtaka. Tzli'esh is to get us out, to bring us to the Geula out of Mitzrayim. Now, to understand the next piece here in Matzah, we need to understand the miluyim of the Shem Havaya. Okay, the Shem Havaya have 4 miluyim. There are 4 ways to spell out the letters in the Shem Havaya. Here, the differences are going to be in the letter Hey and in the letter Vav. Okay, the letters, the way they can be spelled out, are with the letters Yud, Hey, and Aleph. And the Shla has a remes to this. In Yehei Shmei Rabbah, to make the Shem of Hashem larger, you use the letters Yud, Hey, and Aleph. Now, parenthetically, this information that I'm telling you about the miluyim of the Shem Elikim, the Shem Havaya, come from a Gevaldige sefer called Sifsei Chen. Sifsei Chen is a sefer, like an advertisement, for Hakdama l'Sifrei Chasidus. It's amazing. It's very clear, and it explains beautifully the things that I'm sharing with you. So that's where I got it from. So the Shem Havaya can be spelled out in 4 different ways. I could spell that more, but we limit it. We'll discuss 4 of them. There's a mili of Yud, and that's in the Eilam of Atzilus, the Sefira of Chachma, and that's spelling Yud Hey. It's in the first column to the right here. Yud Hey with a Yud, Vav with a Yud, and the last Hey with a Yud. So that's called B'milu Yudin, and the gematria is going to be Ayin Beis, and that's known as the Shem of Ayin Beis. 72. It's the gematria is 72, and that is the first milui of Hashem's name. The second milui is with Yudin and Alfin. That means we're going to spell the Hay's with Yud, but the Vav is spelled with an Aleph instead of a Yud, and therefore we're -9, and that'll bring us to Samach Gimel, which is 63. That's the Shem Sag. That's in the Elam of Bria and the Sfira of Bina. Then you could spell everything with Aleph, with an Aleph. That means the Hay is spelled with an Aleph, the Vav is spelled with an Aleph, and the final Hay is spelled with an Aleph. That gives you gematria of Mem Hay, and that is the Shem Mem Hay, which is in the Elam of Yitzira and in the Sfira of Tiferes. I can move this over. I can't. Okay. Then you have the Mili with Hay. So here we're going to spell the Hay with Hay, but we're not going to spell anything with Vav. Vav is just Vav Vav. So that gives you Yud Hay. Then the Vav is Vav Vav, and the final Hay is Hay Hay, and that'll give you the gematria is Ben is 52. Okay, those are the 4 miluyim, and that's in the ilam of Asiya and in the Sfira of Malchus. Those are the 4 tzirufim. The 4 miluyim of the Shem Havaya: Ayin Beis, Samach Gimel, Mem Hey, and Nun Beis and Ben 52. Okay. Now, says Rabi Yakob, take the word matzah. It's another mitzvah that we have. Another mitzvah that we have on Seder night is to eat matzah. Now, how does that bring us to Geula? How is that a hamtaka? So he says matzah is actually the gematria of what matzah itself is 135. Now, 135 could be divided into 2 by having 72 and 63. Those are 2 shemas, the shem of Ayin Beis and the shem of Samach Gimel. Now, he doesn't say this. I was just thinking, well, maybe that's why we have a big one. We divide the matzah into 2. And we have 2 halves. We have a larger half and a smaller half. The larger half is representing the shem Ayin Beis, and the smaller half is the shem of Samach Gimel. But that was the Shem Havai, which is always a hamtaka of the Midas Hadin. This is the Rachim that comes through Geula. So we have matzah. The last mitzvah of the night is the maror, Mirayurim. Now Mirayurim could be, the way it's pronounced is spelled, Mirayur is with a Vav, it's a Chaylim. Mirayurim spelled with a Vav is 496, the same as Malchus. That means the bitterness that was expressed through the kingship of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, showing his Malchus in Mitzrayim. Those are the bitterness that we experience through the Mitzrayim, and the bitterness that the Mitzrayim experienced, showing the Malchus of Hashem. That's coming. It's all coming from the source of Malchus. It's coming from Malchus as another name for the Shechina, for HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Shechina. That means the bitter herbs remind us not only of slavery, the slavery that we went through, but also to the redemption, because it was the Malchus that was shown over the Egyptians through the Malchus. Those are the inyanim of Geula that are expressed in Parshas Bay, that come to show us each of the Pesach, Matzah and Maror are all there to express the hamtaka, the sweetening of the dinim, which bring to Geula, and Be'ezus Hashem will bring to our Geula as well.